Powered by the Montana Television Network. This is the 530 News on KAJ, Montana's news leader.
Good evening and thanks for joining us. I'm Don Fisher. A manhunt in Lakeside ends in the arrest of an armed man from Libby. Last night, the Flathead County Sheriff's Office received a report of a burglary that happened in the Kalispell area. Taken from that home were several weapons and some survival gear. He had also stolen a truck earlier in the day. The suspect was the victim's son, now identified as 30-year-old Kevin Ray Mitchell from Libby. Around 4:30, a log truck driver reported finding that truck about 6 miles up Kramer Creek Road near Lakeside. Deputies responded and found that the rifle was missing from the truck. Mitchell was reported to have been under the influence of meth and very unstable. An alert was pushed out to residents in the area warning them. Two Bear Air responded to the scene along with Flathead County SWAT, and Mitchell was located around 10 o'clock p.m. and taken into custody without incident. He was hypothermic and transported to a local hospital. He is initially charged with burglary and felony theft. Helena police are investigating a Monday night stabbing, a robbery at Subway restaurant on North Sanders in which a clerk was assaulted and forced into a walk-in cooler. Police say dispatchers received a call around 9:30 last night, and the caller had said that two masked men had entered the store about 20 minutes earlier and assaulted the clerk. That clerk was tied up and locked in the store. Police say the men made the clerk provide them with money before forcing him into the walk-in freezer. The clerk called authorities after he freed himself. Investigators say the clerk suffered non-life-threatening injuries, and if you have any information on this incident, you're asked to contact Helena Crime Stoppers at 406-443-2000. And switching to weather, another dry day for northwestern Montana, and it looks to stay that way in the near future, but a weather shift could bring some snow later in the week. For more, let's turn it over to Chief Meteorologist Aaron Yost, who has a look at our first forecast. Aaron?
Yeah, we are seeing a very weak disturbance roll through as we speak, which has increased our cloud coverage across northwest Montana this afternoon, allowed for a few sprinkles a bit further to the south of us. But yes, overall, today, tomorrow, looking to be relatively quiet weather-wise speaking over the extended forecast. It's not going to stay that way. We will see a stronger system moving in on Thursday, starting off as a rain-snow mix, perhaps pockets of freezing rain Thursday morning before a cold front ushers in much cooler air, drops those snow levels down to valley floors by overnight hours on Thursday. I've got more details coming up in your full forecast.
All right, thank you, Aaron. Flathead County Sheriff Chuck Curry says he will not run for re-election in 2018. Curry is currently serving his second term as the county sheriff, and he was elected in November of 2010 and took office in January of 2011. Curry has been with the Flathead County Sheriff's Office for 34 years and sees over 50 sworn law enforcement deputies and 50 civilian members in that role. At least 4 others have announced plans to run for election: Deputy Jordan White, as well as deputies Calvin Behringer, Brian Henio, and Keith Stahlberg. Whilst Sheriff Curry hasn't thrown his support to any candidate yet, he does say that he feels that the pool of candidates are very qualified, but does admit that there will be some challenges ahead for them.
There'll be a lot of challenges facing the person that takes the helm of this organization. Certainly the jail, how that looks, how that's going to play out is going to be very important to the organization, very important to public safety.
And candidates have until March 12th to file for election. And Lake County Sheriff Don Bell says that he will seek another term. Bell is currently serving the 3rd year of his first term as sheriff, and before being elected as sheriff, Bell spent 23 years as an officer for the Confederated Salish Kootenai tribe. As a native of Ronan, he says he spent his entire life in the valley.
And so I'm even more motivated to for the valley to prosper and keep my kids safe, my grandkids safe, and then all the other citizens in Lake County.
And Bell says one of the biggest issues facing the county is the outdated and overcrowded jail. Glacier National Park officially sets a new visitation record, easily topping the 3 million mark. The final report on park visitation from the National Park Service shows that 3.3 million people went through the park gates in 2017, a solid 10% increase over the previous year. The park passed 3 million visitors this year in September, even with the fire season cutting access on the west side of the park. The new record wasn't unexpected, and for the first time in Glacier's history, more than 1 million people had come through the gates in the month of July. That was a jump of more than 23%, and park visitation was already up 11% through the first half of the year.
Thinking about that many people coming to the park and coming to this area, in such a short time period. No other big Western national park has seen 1 million visitors in a month. So not Yellowstone, not Yosemite, not the Grand Canyon. So that was pretty significant.
And concession stays were up almost 10% at the park's lodges and hotels, but overnight stays in tents and RVs, which represent the bulk of Glacier's visitors who remain in the park on more than a one-day trip, was off, likely due to those fire closures on the west side. A lot on the agenda for the Whitefish City Council tonight, including a vote on the fate of a resort housing development that's planned. The council will vote on the 102-unit development plan for 700 and 900 Wisconsin Avenue. Also, a conditional use permit request for 8th Street LLC to convert a building into a professional office and develop a triplex at 144 West 2nd Street. And a resolution implying the city's intention to adopt amendments to the Whitefish Downtown Master Plan. And the resolution changes the future land use designation of the city's snow lot at the corner of Columbia Avenue and Railway Street from public parking to multifamily residential use. And it also changes the land use at the corner of O'Brien Avenue and 2nd Street from public parking to commercial use. And that meeting will begin at 7:10 tonight. The fallout over President Trump's reported use of vulgar language continues, and on Tuesday, it was at the center of the fiery hearings on Capitol Hill. That's where lawmakers are working to keep the government funded, but Democrats are threatening not to pass a budget deal unless it includes protection for so-called dreamers. Weijia Zhang reports from Capitol Hill.
President Trump says he doesn't care where immigrants to the U.S. come from.
I want them to come in from everywhere.
But last week, during a meeting to negotiate an immigration deal, the president reportedly said he prefers people from Norway than expletive holes like Haiti, El Salvador, and some African countries.
I did not hear that word used.
Homeland Security Secretary Kirstjen Nielsen attended the meeting. On Tuesday, Democrats on the Senate Judiciary Committee grilled her about the president's language, which she described as tough.
You said on Fox News that the president used strong language. What was that strong language?
Apologies, I don't remember specific word.
That explanation set off Senator Cory Booker.
When ignorance and bigotry is allied with power, it is a dangerous force in our country. Your silence and your amnesia is complicity.
The controversy has halted progress on immigration legislation that focused on border security and DACA, the program that prevents young undocumented immigrants from being deported. Now, Democrats are trying to add DACA protections to a budget deal, which Congress must pass by Friday to avoid a government shutdown.
I urge the president to lead us to that bipartisan solution. Mr. President, close the deal.
The president blames Democrats for the holdup, tweeting they want to shut down the government over amnesty for all. Weijia Zhang, CBS News, Capitol Hill.
And on Tuesday, the Justice Department announced it will try to reverse a lower court's ruling that blocked President Trump's move to end DACA. The DOJ says it will also file an appeal with the Supreme Court. A new scam is hitting Netflix customers. Thousands of users received an email pretending to be from the company, and that email prompted subscribers to update information to their payments to avoid service interruption. A cybersecurity company says users were then directed to what appeared to be an official login page. But Netflix says if you're unsure about a link, hover your cursor over it to see where the link actually directs you. The North American International Auto Show is now in high gear in Detroit. On Monday, the Automotive Writers Association handed out its awards. The Honda Accord was named the Car of the Year, the top SUV was the Volvo XC60, and the Lincoln Navigator won Truck of the Year honors. CVS wants more truth in advertising in its stores. The drugstore chain will no longer use manipulated photos on store brand beauty products, and it's also requiring other brands to follow suit within 2 years. And if they don't, CVS will be putting a warning sticker on them. From Southern Africa, the epitome of a diamond in the rough. This 910-carat monster was recently extracted from the Letsing mine, and it's about the size of 2 golf balls and is believed to be the 5th biggest gem-quality diamond ever found. Coming up next in this week's Montana Made, we visit a Gallatin Valley jewelry maker whose muse is 120 miles long. Stay with us.